7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. We all join me in the flag of our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Everyone's here but Doug, who was out sick. Item 4, acceptance of the meetings, the minutes of 4 and 5.
So moved.
Second.
4, 5 rather. Motion made, seconded to accept the minutes. Any discussion? Here now, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Item 5, acceptance of agenda.
There's no 11th hour. You can strike 9 and you can take 15 and 16 off. There's no general assistance request.
Strike 9, you said, James?
9, 15, and 16.
Move the accept agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the agenda as amended. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Item 6 on the agenda, open to public.
I just came because I'm interested to know where we are with the MSW decision as far as fiberite, perk, or whatever. I don't know where we're going with our transfer station, and I believe to lock in, from the research I've been doing, I believe to get the attractive rates from fiberite, we're supposed to lock it in by the beginning of May.
They pushed the date
Did
back.
that?
Yeah, they weren't prepared, and communities like ours weren't prepared. Communities that work on a annual town meeting, most of us have passed our town meeting date, so they knew they. I think I talked to a Pierce Atwood attorney that's representing them just last week, and they hadn't yet announced it, but and today they announced they're pushing that date back. So we have a little more time to get some more work done. Colin has volunteered to work with the recycling committee. We hadn't got to the point of appointing them yet because that's a workshop item when we talk about the whole facility. But we'll be working pretty closely and those that were on that committee to develop some advice for the board. So I've been copying you all of the documents, but it still is it's a long-term commitment and certainly not one that I wanted to make recommendation to on my own. We've had Greg Launder from Municipal Review Committee down to see us, and we've had the owners of PERC down to see us in Casella Waste, and I think there's a lot of communities surrounding us waiting for us to take a decision too. So we're still searching it out. So.
Do we know what the new date is?
I think they pushed it back a month.
So June 1st.
I just saw the email. I didn't get to read it this morning. We were pretty busy, but I think it's pushed back a month.
I've been following all the town meetings in the county, and that's been a hot spot on all of them.
Yep.
And I think most of them have
Wait.
gone away from FERC.
You had it in
Yeah.
your agenda. You had it in the annual meeting warrant, but pulled it out in the last minute for more information. So.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, some of the unorganized townships that are county run have gone with PERC, and most of the towns have gone with fiberite that have signed up, and the Mid-Coast group that's Camden and the 3 other towns has gone with EcoMaine.
So they're heading south.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we were
They were-
closer, I'd probably recommend that because it's not a gamble. I feel like the PERC thing and the fiberite are both big gambles. From my research, suggests that they're both just making promises that they don't know whether they can keep.
Spot on. how and it's a public money, so we don't want to gamble too much. The only problem with EcoMaine was we did actually have them come and do a presentation for us a number of years ago, and the trucking cost for us was cost prohibitive.
Well, we're
they
30
conceded
miles
it's
further away from them and
Then-
closer to,
without a really good highway to get there, so.
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, Colin, we'll get that committee going after Tuesday night's meeting. We'll probably start our first series of meetings in the first week of May, or the second week of May.
Well,
Thank
from
you
what
for
I
bringing
get news articles lately too, there's some folks in Hamden that really aren't welcoming this with open arms either.
Nobody's ever wanted trash to be disposed of in the backyard.
They've already suffered for years with another trash
Right.
facility nearby, and seagulls depositing red bags and other things in their backyard. So, yeah, I think that would be a fight no matter what community they're
Yeah.
looking at. So,
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I wanted to know where we were and get educated on that front, basically.
All right.
I'll start
Yeah.
getting you some copies of some of the stuff that's coming in, because there were some agreements actually made at the PERC plant this past week with Casella and some other generators. So I'll start copying it to you. I'll keep you in the loop.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
If there's nothing else from open public, I will go through 7, old business, 7A, limb and leaf day, discussion action.
Since we switched at the transfer station to the old system of $5 a truckload for debris, I spent a little bit of time up there this weekend. It's not really working. So my recommendation would be we take brush at no charge until June 1st. We'll make up some cards for people, and we'll start passing them out as people come in to say, starting June 1st, it'll be $5 a load. What I notice for operation is they come in the back, the entry gate, they back up to the pile, they dump, and they leave through the entry gate, and they don't even come near the operator. So, and the operator can't drop everything and go, 50 feet away and leave everything unattended. I mean, you'll lose $20 to collect the $5. So we'll make a card up. On one side, I want to have the card say, if your car doesn't have a window decal, you're not allowed to use, and then maybe outline the pricing for stickers, small bag, large bag, and then the other side to say, limbs and leaves after June 1st will be $5. There'll be another date next year, but and people are wicked early. I mean, I did actually talk to a couple people who were dumping debris, and they're just early. And they couldn't start this early any other year because it'd be too wet to get trucks near the brush piles, and snow covered it last year. So my recommendation, you guys obviously can do what you need, but I'd
Okay, so when you say a load, you're talking about pickup load?
pick up load.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we, till June 1st, not charge for brush at the transfer station.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, this to take town manager's recommendation?
Sure.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to go with town manager's recommendation on limb and leaf day. Any discussion? Here now, call the vote, all those in favor? 4-0.
My neighbor's already started to cut his lawn. So like this warm weather, mild spring, is getting, I wait till he cuts for the third time, then I do mine, but mine's but I was up there Sunday for a little while too, and I did notice there was a lot of cars without stickers on the window. If we change our cars, we forget to get a new sticker.
That's why I think having a double-sided card with limbs and leaves explanation on one side and your sticker and your fee explanation on the other would be good, because I don't really want to turn people away, especially those that are residents. But that reminder, don't come back if you don't have your sticker. Some sort of friendly language, but stern, because we do have to tighten it up.
Do you think we should bring the book up there and hand them out? Are we that far behind? I didn't see. think I saw one with a sticker.
Yeah, it's awfully hard. I'd rather not necessarily have an employee up there and pay them just because, you know, they can come down and get them. We had people today, I had an employee up there today that was sending them down here, and we've issued a few stickers here, so it's not that big a travel to come and get your sticker down here and get recognized. So.
I have a question concerning the transfer station. Is there plans for coming up for a hazardous waste? I know they did it before.
We should probably talk
Oil
about
and
that
paint and stuff like
in the
that.
workshop when we talk about our operation, because we did one 2 years ago.
Was it? I remember.
Tried to do them every 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
The price has come down a little bit, so it's not. Well, at one point it was $9,000 a shot, and part of that was subsidized through state grant. But the state grant completely went away. Trying to get towns to work together and start a pattern of every few years. And 2 years ago we took in a lot of stuff. We could be due, but it's something that maybe we should have as our overall discussion of transfer station.
Yeah, I remember one year I took some stuff to Belfast. They were working with us.
Yep.
7B, transfer station employee discussion action. James, what's your thought
Yeah.
there?
In the last meeting, you announced you accepted the resignation, but we don't have a plan at this point on exactly how we'll fill the position. But I'd like to advertise to get some names in the queue. No matter what, it's likely to be a part-time position. So I think advertising for a part-time transfer station attendant would fit whether you change the hours or whatever. The only thing I'll have to work out is whether we need someone with a CDL license, because we've had someone with a CDL license pretty much right along.
Right.
And but that's a factor we'll have to determine maybe in the next workshop. But there's no problem with advertising.
Well, my own question on advertising is, not being able, we haven't determined the hours they're gonna work, so just to let them know what hours would be expected when they apply.
Right. Well, that is hard too. We
You know,
could
it's
put
gonna
a
be 3 days
range.
a week, it's
Well,
gonna be 2 days a
we
week.
could put a range of hours. We could advertise part-time employee 24 to,
Mhm.
or 16 to 24
Yeah,
hours.
keep it general.
Yeah,
Kind of a general thing, see what comes in. I mean, it's funny, sometimes you think you're gonna get plenty of applicants and you get hardly any, and other times you think it's a position that nobody wants and you get more than you need. And I'm writing a bunch of letters thanking people, but they weren't what we were looking for. So if I can keep it general, if you permit me to advertise, I'll advertise and keep it general. I've already taken a few, but
I'll make a motion that we authorize the town manager to advertise for a part-time position for transfer station.
Second.
okay, motion been made and seconded to authorize town manager to advertise for a part-time position at the transfer station. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Eight, new business. 8A, request for funding for Fort Summit from TIF. Discussion and action. Go ahead, James.
I actually would like to have you table this to the next meeting so I can gather a little more information. I don't have enough information to make a good guess, and I don't want to authorize more than what we might spend for it. And shouldn't be any reason I couldn't have it in the next meeting, so a tabling motion would work well.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table item 8A until our next meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Wastewater budget, discussion action.
No, Howard's here tonight, and we have not really addressed the wastewater budget in workshop. There's been some very cursory discussions and some discussions with individuals on the board. I guess to have it on the agenda doesn't necessarily mean to pass it tonight. But the change to the budget is what I would call insignificant, $181 difference from one year to the next. In fact, it's $181 less than last year's recommendation. The adjustments are rather minor. Certain costs were up. An example of that is the phones. We put an $800 increase. That's according to our contract with GWI. Salary and administration went up $68, but health insurance went down $349. And the budget just all goes that way. Vehicle maintenance, we dropped $1,000 out of that, and that's just reflecting the need. We had budgeted $3,000. We spent under $2,000. And I talked briefly with Howard about, if there were any extraordinary needs in that, and there don't appear to be. Pro fees, $1,000 off, but we added $1,000 to the operating supplies because we were over in that account. Everything else is pretty constant.
Howard, do you have anything to add?
We have a number of wastewater issues that I don't know if you want to discuss in a workshop, but delinquent accounts and things like that. Might not be a bad idea to review those and just see. I know I received one in the mail of certain property where apparently they're filing for bankruptcy type thing, and we're gonna end up with it, wastewater and probably the town. And there's a number of accounts like that, and they probably should be reviewed every year, because a lot of those people have been on that list. It's the same people on that list quite often.
Well, we've got some workshops coming up. This first one, I don't think we're going to be able to get to it, but we could take that issue up as far as the budget.
Right.
And if the board feels, I'm okay with what, given the small decrease and what James said, I'm okay voting for it now. But on the other hand, we could always put it for the next workshop. It just might be a little while before we get to it, because the next workshop is not going to be taking that up.
Yeah, because, this should be something that's taken care of before we get into the next billing period.
Exactly. So I'm okay with voting for it tonight if everyone else is.
And you get the update, the monthly updates. You watch the progress. And we were under budget for last year, but there were a couple projects that we wanted to do that we kind of kicked down the road. The time ran out on us. We have a pole on Main Street that takes care of our heat tape. We desperately wanted to do it before snow because we figured for sure the snow pile would knock it down. It didn't, but now maybe the wind will knock it down. So those things we had actually built into the budget. We didn't get a chance to do it. We're carrying that money forward, and they're kind of priorities now because there's a few things we absolutely have to do. Some pumps that need to be rebuilt. We should be working on the lock system down at the plant. Some of the door locks, they're commercial industrial door locks. Pretty expensive stuff. May not be able to do them all this year, but we should program a few of them each year for the next few. I did meet with the auditors to ask specifically how the wastewater is doing since we've changed we're on the program that Woodard and Curran recommended for rate increase. It hasn't been in long enough. We initiated that sometime in June or July. There hasn't been enough billing cycles. There's only been one for 2 parts of town, right?
Yeah,
we should have missed the first part.
We missed the first one.
Right, so we wouldn't know
that.
We did close the gap we didn't in whole operate, you know, in the black, but we're closing the gap. We've initiated 2 years of this program with a review before we go into the 3rd year. And, you know, we're not due for even the 1st year of review until June or July.
Have we resolved the problem with the crematorium up there?
Yeah, as far as we know, they had some equipment misfunctions, and there was some need for them to go back to the manufacturer and make some changes. But
That was quite a long time.
That was quite a long
2 or 3
time.
years ago.
2 or 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't even know that we know that anything's been.
I don't
We haven't
believe
seen-
they're using that process.
Yeah. And we haven't seen
At all,
anything
right now.
on our end as far as our tests go that
That's
are
fine.
anomalous.
Yeah.
I mean, if there were, you know, big violations or changes, we'd have to come back. So,
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the wastewater budget for the year.
I'll second that.
Okay, you just said to approve it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded to approve the wastewater budget for the following year. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 4-0. HC, highway repair funding request.
yeah, we're looking to have the board authorize $40,000 to start the this annual repair to roads. We have several estimates for culverts, and the low bid is $27,429. The culvert work and all the groundwork needs to be done before paving can even go out to bid. Usually, we have at least $175,000 in reserve for roads this year. That's what we were authorized at town meeting. Usually we wait and we give you the whole package. We're going to fix this road, this road, this road, but we're putting ourselves behind. We can do the groundwork and the culvert work now, and then wait, because the paving companies aren't even open to give us bid prices. But we want to get a head start so that when we do, we're not paving in October, because a lot of times that's what ends up happening. We wait for the whole thing. So we're looking for an authorization of $40,000 to buy culverts and start the road repair work for 2016.
I'll move authorize $40,000 from road reserve to start with road repairs,
Second.
contingent upon one railroad being done this year.
Okay, motion
That's in the
been,
record.
No contingency.
motion been made and
Seriously.
seconded to approve
On the list.
$40,000 to start the road repair.
40,000. Yep.
40,000, right? Any discussion? I got one question, James. Now, is this going to include ditching? Or
Yeah,
price?
that's why it's $27,000 of culverts
Right.
alone, but the installation and the ditching around them, we may come back. I don't think we'll come back for more before we get started.
Right.
That should cover all that rework. In fact, some of the money that you just authorized might be carried into the paving. We might ask for less. So.
Any questions, comments?
No.
Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Jack,
4-0.
can I say,
Yeah.
I know they haven't opened up the plants yet, but in following all the town meetings in Waldo County, several of the towns have looked to the future and are open to buy into extra mileage
Right.
on the paving. And we gotta keep our eye on it too.
I actually spoke to a contractor just this afternoon and asked if they have any ideas yet, and they said there's no way to know yet.
Yeah.
But they are pretty confident it will be lower. Wouldn't commit to considerably lower, but that it will be lower.
With the price of oil being down, wouldn't that affect that the paving should be cheaper?
Sure.
It usually, there's a correlation, but it's not immediate
No,
because it's a byproduct of refining. It's not a, you know,
It's going back up too.
and it is going back up.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I remember one too many years ago, it was like $4 a ton.
When I started, it was $38 a ton. And that summer, it jumped to 50 something, just like that. So in my 5-year plan for Searsport, we overlaid the back Searsport Road. 7 years later, I had to dig it up and do it right. So. But it was a good stopgap measure to get us to.
Yeah, gonna look at Old County Road this year.
I think Oak County Road's a patch and repair. We are seriously looking at Black Road South and the Monroe Road as two, and the additional work that needs to be done on Prospect
That
Street.
built-in rumble strip on Old County, that was kinda,
Oh yeah, I've talked to our road foreman about that. And the back Searsport Road's the same way, so.
11th hour, there is none. Correspondence.
A couple of items in correspondence. The first, it's Penobscot Energy Recovery is giving you second quarter tipping fee for charter municipalities. Second quarter looks like it's going to be $77 a ton. They budget that out right to the fourth quarter. And then the second item is from the municipal, from the Waldo County Commissioners and National County Government Month is, they didn't actually say, it's April. And then the last 2 pages are what the county does that maybe you didn't know about. So that's correspondence.
Item 11, treasurer warrant. Do I have a motion on treasurer warrant?
Yeah, I'll move to approve that pending all our signatures.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve treasurer's warrant on signature. Any comment? All in favor of the motion? Okay. Department head report.
I want to see police, is that right?
That's all I got.
You should have police, wastewater, and
I have
ambulance.
one previous from wastewater.
Yeah,
Where's wastewater?
I
he
have previous-
delivers it.
previous?
around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably in the last week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
The only one I was missing so far this month was the fire department.
So I'll move we accept department heads reports, sans the fire department.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept department head report. Any discussion?
Except the fire department.
Except the fire department. All those in favor? Selectmen's report, Aaron, do you have anything?
Not to speak, thank you.
Mark?
Yeah, I was curious when we're gonna be painting the pedestrian crosswalks.
Well, as with everything else coming early this spring, we're hoping to do it next month.
Okay, because I'm seeing more and more people using them and it's hard to see where they're at.
It's unbelievable how soon we are, but I agree, we're seeing a lot of people walking, so I will mention it to Bob.
I've seen that in other towns too. We're all behind.
Yep.
Well, the other part of the equation is we have to sweep first. And on Main Street, the state's got to come through and sweep and clean before we can lay down our sidewalk, our crosswalks, because we'll be painting sand if we
Right,
don't.
I
And
understand.
we are in the process, and I think almost done, sweeping our portions. They've been out, these rainy days are particularly good for us because we go out and that keeps dust down, so.
Dick, you have anything?
In Radio Searsport, I put out lemon, after talking with Bobby, I put out lemon leaf as the second Sunday in May. I'll put out that it goes for June now.
I had a lot of people ask me at the transfer station this weekend.
Yeah.
And I told them, you know, because it was such a nice day, I said, bring it in today. And I don't think anybody took me up on that, but I said, we're gonna decide in the next couple of days when to come in. And they were preparing to bring him in next weekend or maybe the weekend after. So your decision was good. And again, we'll try to be able to put those notices out.
I think just putting it back into their minds that it's there and use it will help a lot of people get rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, good year for it.
That's it, thank you.
Very good. I just got one thing I want to speak just a minute on Maritime Heritage Weekend. We met again last Friday afternoon. Basically now it is scheduling the events. Everything's pretty well determined what we're going to do. Now it's just time schedule, everything together, and then coordinate with the summit when. And the other thing, it was brought to our attention by a young man who works over Castine. He's a skipper of the schooner Bowden, which is part of Maine Maritime Academy's fleet. He met with us a couple of weeks ago, and he told us about the state of Maine has its own merchant marine flag. And I put a copy there in your
Oh, that's all.
Bob. None of us realized it. So did a little research, and Maine and New Hampshire, Maine and Massachusetts rather, are the only two states in the union that have such flags. And those of us that are working on trying to put this weekend together thought it might be a great idea if we could have a few of these flying in town this summer.
35 businesses in
Yeah.
in town there, Dick? Or-
I talked to a young fellow I know that's in the flag business, and he's come up with some prices.
Yeah, fortunately there was a number on it so I could relate it to the flag company. They looked it up and they read it just as it is here. And I says, what are your prices? And he gave me I said, I'm looking at possibly 10. And he gave me the price for 10. And I says, what would it be at 12? He said, oh, 12 you get a reduction. Which sometimes leads me to buy large volumes to get that reduction. And you might as well go with the 12 because the price of 10 versus 12, you're going to get 2 free ones and save $18 if you go with 12. So that's where we sit on it, but it's up to the committee what you want to do.
Okay, tonight, this is only here tonight just for information only, just so you know what we're talking about in the future. I do believe though that in a few weeks, we will be asked to consider purchasing some of these. I got an idea going to be used more than once. Some of these folks that are working on this have already said, here's what we're going to do next year. And also, there is a national holiday that's dedicated to the merchant marine service, so we can always have them out in that time period too. So it's not it's something that we can be, used over and over again. So anyway, this is just for information, so when it comes by, we'll all know what's being discussed.
Good idea.
Anything else from the board? Anything else from the board?
Nope, not for me.
Again, we're back to open to the public and the viewing public. Any?
No calls, but we should be including texts, because I do get some texts from the public.
Okay.
And they wanted me to report and open to the public that the roof at North Station has been repaired.
Oh, good.
Thank you for the info. Yeah.
No executive session?
That's it.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?